So, hello and hello everyone. Good morning and good evening from whichever part you are from. So, இன்னைக்கு வந்து I like to use the term older.
Chitra madam, you can kindly unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. Chitra madam, will you unmute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you talk, can I give a small introduction and then you can start?
Sure, sir.
Good evening, Dr. Chitra Mahesh and Dr. Sendil Kumar, who are here to take the show on. And welcome to our past president, Mr. Krishna Swamiji, Mr. Namasivayam, the past president of Probus Club of Chennai, and all other guests who have joined today for this very empowering and very important meeting. Before Dr. Chitra Mahesh takes the podium, I would like to say a few words about Dr. Chitra Mahesh. Dr. Chitra Mahesh is a registered dietitian, certified diabetes educator, and certified nutrition support dietitian with over 30 years of experience in clinical nutrition and food service management. She holds the master's degree in dietetics, a postgraduate diploma in nutrition and dietetics, and has completed the Duke online clinical nutrition course. She is the head dietitian at VHS Hospital Chennai, where she conducts nutrition classes for nurses and regularly mentors undergraduate and postgraduate nutrition interns. Chitra is a life member of the Indian Society for Parenteral and Internal Nutrition, ISPEN, the Indian Dietetic Association, IDA, and Nutrition Society of India, NSI, and is also an annual member of the Aspen Society. As one of the founding members of ISPN, she has been the faculty at several national and international conferences and recently taught at the Parenteral and Internal Nutrition Society of Asia, PENSA, Congress Hyderabad 2022. She has presented papers widely and received the Sagarmal Goenka Award in IDA in 2003. Her research and academic contributions include a publication in the Nutrition Journal and also co-authoring book chapters in the textbook of Indian Society of Critical Care Medicine and textbook of clinical nutrition. This is a small introduction about Dr. Chitra. And of course, our Dr. Sendil Kumar, our Asthana doctor, who is also a strategic consultant at VHS. So we have put two stalwarts in the field. And there will be a conversation type of program where they will take forward the presentation and the conversation. Now I leave the field to Dr. Sendil Kumar and Dr. Chitra Mahesh. Over to you, madam.
Okay, thank you very much for the introduction, sir. Dr. Sendil, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, Nothing, madam. We can start, madam.
Okay, thank you. I would like to use the word older adults in place of senior citizens. And what, according to you, Mr. Badri, is old age? Is it 60 plus or 65 plus? Because different countries and different societies have different cutoffs. So what is...
Shall I answer, ma'am?
Yes, please.
See, old age, there are one thing is the clinical age, where biologically you measure from the date of birth. The other one is the spirits with which you work. You have seen people 80 years, 90 years working very active. So in my opinion, what matters is the spirit, the activeness, the mobility, all those things put together and comprehensively, when it is put in a scale of a 1 to 10, I think that determines the closer you are to 10, the closer you are to your younger age. It's inversely proportional. That's my personal view.
You're very right, sir. You're very right. So, see, we start aging right from the time we are born. Right from the time we are conceived in the womb. Adlende grow around, then we are born. We start growing, and then we reach our peak fitness in our adulthood. So when we reach our 30s and 40s, physical and physiological changes start happening. There is a small decline happening right from the age of 30s and 40s, sometimes with respect to muscle health, sometimes with respect to bone health, and sometimes it could be as basic as our basic metabolic rate. There is a small decline over decades. So, why does nutrition matters with all age groups? Why particularly with old age or older adults, Abdina? Because of all these physical, physiological, and psychological changes, what happens is their immunity may go down. So, their ability to ward off diseases and infections may go down. So, immunity is everything. If the immune system is impaired, it leads to a sequence of consequences, like there can be increased infections, there can be inflammation, there can be muscle loss. Suppose it requires hospitalization, means the length of stay in the hospital is increased, and it leads to a series of consequences. So maintaining our immunity is very important. For that, we need good nutrition. And then for good physical and mental strength, as you say, which gives us the independence to be on our own like when we were young. Adukku we need good nutrition. And then to prevent chronic diseases, if suppose you're disease free till now, to prevent these chronic diseases in future, and in case you already have some chronic diseases, how to keep them in control. For all this, nutrition is very important. So let's go through some of the physical and physiological changes that occur with age. So first, our basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy that is required for our body for doing our basic metabolic functions. Like even when we are sleeping, we need a certain amount of energy for our body organs to function, like for the heart to beat, for the blood to circulate, for breathing, etc. For all that, we need a certain amount of energy. And for slight movements, little more. When we are up doing our little chores around the house, we need extra energy. If we are going to do extra, like exercise, some heavy work, then we need little more energy. So it goes like that. Our energy requirements go like that. But since from the age of 40 on, all these energy requirements depend on our muscle health and our bone health. From the age of 40, we start losing muscle mass by about 8% every decade. When we cross 60, that decline becomes higher. When we cross 70, the decline becomes further higher. When we cross 80, furthermore. So, since the energy expenditure depends on muscle health quite a bit and the muscle loss is happening, there is something called sarcopenia that sets in. So, the sarcopenia is age related. It can set in very easily unless we work against it right from our 30s and 40s in terms of maintaining our muscle by exercising right and by eating the right foods. So there is there is progressive muscle loss and progressive muscle strength, which can lead to reduced muscle function. This we call it as sarcopenia. And then again, similar to muscle loss, there is decline in bone strength and bone mass as well, right from the say 30s. We reach our peak bone mass at the age of 30. From then on, there can be a small percentage of decline in the bone mass and strength. So, to what if the bone mass decline is quite a bit, then we can land up in osteoporosis, which is reduced bone mass and reduced bone mineral density. That is one. So, this leads to fractures, or at least risk of fracture is there. And then as we grow, there is altered taste, altered appetite signals, probably reduced appetite, altered taste, altered smell. And if suppose you do not have your dentures in place, or if you do not have your original teeth, and if you have lost teeth and you are wearing dentures, and if the dentures are not okay, you are not able to eat well, landing you in malnutrition. And then uh, as we age, that there is gastric acid producing in the stomach. There is an acid that is produced in the stomach that helps in proper digestion of proteins and other nutrients. As we age, the acid production goes down. Another aspect why the acid production goes down is many people are on proton pump inhibitors for issues like gastritis. This also reduces the acid content in the stomach. Because of this, there is impaired absorption of many nutrients like vitamin B12, iron, and calcium, which require that acidic medium to be absorbed. So these are the various changes that influence the nutrient requirements of the older adults. So what are the normal common challenges that we have? I talked about the oral health issues, that is, people may have lost their original set of teeth. They may be wearing dentures. They may not be fitting well, so they are not able to chew food well. They may have altered smell, altered taste, appetite could go down, mainly because the activity has gone down. And then illnesses and chronic diseases only add to all these issues. There could be financial troubles. And then polypharmacy. When I say polypharmacy, what I mean is many older adults are on many medications which interact with each other, which interact with nutrient absorption, and does not help in achieving the nutrition goals. And there could be psychological goals, issues that hinder in eating well. What is balanced diet? It is not very far from what is good for the younger adults. I would like to suggest this plate pattern for you. Half the plate should be filled with vegetables. It should be a variety of vegetables. Some of portion of it can be green vegetables, portion of it can be other vegetables that are grown above the ground and below the ground. And 1/4 of the plate should be filled with proteins. If vegetarian, I'm going to go through all these nutrients one by one in the next slides. 1/4 of the plate should be filled with proteins, and 1/4 should be filled with carbohydrate or any starch. And of course, to cook a meal like this, you use healthy fats and not just any saturated fat or cheap oils. And how about fruits? Yes, I would like to recommend fruits, but I would like fruits to be eaten as fillers between meals, but and not as part of the meal. Most important would be to keep yourself hydrated, because since the thirst signals go down, our sense to drink fluids goes down. and and we have to maybe set reminders for us to drink water. You have to make sure that we drink at least 30 ml of water per kg body weight. In case we are in a warmer climate or going out in the sun, we have to make sure that we are drinking more water, or other fluids like buttermilk or vegetable soups, or maybe coconut water once in a while. So I'm going to list out a few protein sources now. See, the general concept is as we age, our requirements go down, but not with respect to proteins. We need to eat a good. If we recommend 1 gram of protein per kg body weight for younger adults, but for older adults we recommend 1 to 1.2 grams of kg body weight. So, what are the sources of proteins? The vegetarian sources are all pulses and legumes. Amongst the pulses and legumes, soya ranks the highest. It has about 40 grams of protein in 100 grams of the product. So it could be you can have soya in the form of sundal or tofu or soya milk. It could be any of them. And of course, the dairy products, milk and its products like curd, buttermilk, or paneer. And amongst non-vegetarian sources, it could be eggs, fish, chicken, meat. Of course, you choose lean portions and not red meat, etc. Nuts and seeds are good sources of proteins too. And fruits like guava also offer a fairly good amount. Like, say, a guava can give you about 2 to 3 grams of protein. So, the tip would be in terms of protein, the tip would be to spread the protein intake. Anything, any nutrient, you do not have it in one go at one meal. Be it water or proteins, you space it during the day between the meals so that the absorption is best. Coming to carbohydrates, we definitely need carbohydrates, but you have to choose the whole grains in place of refined grains. The sources of carbohydrate, especially complex carbohydrates, are unpolished rice, brown rice, millets, quinoa. When it comes to oats, has become a staple food in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, and also in India, I think. So, but do not go in for the easy cooking instant oats. Go in for steel cut or rolled oats. And when we want to make chapatis or puris, make it out of whole wheat and do not use maida. And rice varieties, going for your native traditional rice varieties, but by and large unpolished ones. And fruits and vegetables are again good sources of carbohydrates. Try to avoid refined grains like polished grains. Polished grains, an example would be raw rice, and refined flour like maida. Fats, of course, are important sources of energy, and prefer vegetable oils native to your place. Like if you are staying in Kerala, use coconut oil, but of course, everything has to be in moderation. If suppose you are in Tamil Nadu, where gingerly oil and groundnut oil are the most common, use them. And if you are in Calcutta, use mustard oil. So whatever is native to your place, use that oil. And do not concentrate on just one oil. If the oil allowance for you is about 4 teaspoons, try to use a mix of oils. Like you can use a teaspoon of gingerly, a teaspoon of coconut, a teaspoon of sunflower, and a teaspoon of groundnut oil, whereby you get the benefits of omega 3s and omega 6 in a good combination. So other sources of fats would be nuts, seeds, and amongst fruits, avocado, and of course fatty fish, which is very rich in omega 3 fats. Though ghee is not bad, you have to limit the amount of ghee and butter that you have. What is most important is avoiding trans fats, which is usually found in all these packaged processed foods. I'm going to talk more on vitamins and minerals, but the key nutritional needs, as we have seen, is protein, yes, definitely. Amongst minerals, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin B12, folate, fiber, fluids, and zinc are very important. Of course, as I told you at the start, that energy requirements for the older adults go down a bit because the basal metabolic rate has gone down, number one, and the physical activity may have gone down in comparison to their younger age. So the energy requirements are less, but at the same time, proteins and other vitamin mineral requirements are either normal or higher than normal. That we have to remember. We don't want you to compensate on other nutrients. Only the energy has to go down. Energy requirements go down. So the micronutrients to prioritize are calcium, vitamin D for bone strength. The sources would be dairy, fortified milk, ragi, green leafy vegetables, almonds, sesame seeds, and of course sunshine. Vitamin B12, one point regarding sunshine. So, though we say sunshine when it falls on our skin gets converted to vitamin D, when people grow old, that ability of the skin to receive and convert the vitamin D, and of course, our kidneys' ability also goes down to convert. So, the conversion of vitamin D, even though we are staying in a warm climate, the conversion doesn't happen as well as it did in your younger age. Vitamin B12, of course, is good for nerve health and cognition. The sources would be eggs, fish, fortified cereals, nutritional yeast, and milk. Iron deficiency anemia, especially in women, is very, very common. But the requirements for iron for women in their reproductive age is much higher when compared to men. But once they cross the reproductive age, the iron requirements for both men and women become similar. So the rich sources of iron, of course, there are again two sources. Animal sources would be all meat, liver, organ meats, etc. For vegetarians, um, it can be green leafy vegetables, but we have to remember the iron from the vegetarian sources do not get absorbed very well. So we have to add a food that is rich in vitamin C. So my advice would be to squeeze in some lemon juice at the time of eating your meal, which has green leafy vegetables. The other micronutrients would be folate and B complex vitamins, which are very helpful for cognitive and metabolic health. Of course, you would get these from fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. And the nutrients like potassium and magnesium are also important for your heart and nerve health, which are rich in bananas, oranges, nuts, whole grains, seeds, coconut water, etc. What foods you need to limit because of your decreased activity? Go low on fried, oily, heavy foods, and be careful with the amount of salt that you take in. Even the WHO has recommended just about 5 grams of salt, which is just a teaspoon of salt. And try and avoid, even though you are not diabetic and there is no requirement to control the sugar amount that you eat, be take it easy. Do not overdo the sugars. You can have sugars but not too much, and definitely go low on refined carbohydrates, and try and avoid packaged and processed foods. So the meal planning tips ideally would be, though you have to be careful on the amount of calories that you take in, prefer nutrient dense food. When I say nutrient dense food, what I mean is the food should not be just rich in calories. It should be rich in other nutrients like proteins, vitamins, minerals, fiber. It should, like if I say, to give you an example, suppose you're going to drink a glass of Pepsi. It has nothing but calories. It has no other nutrients. But if you're going to, or if you're going to eat a mixed meal that we are used to, like rice with vegetables and dal, then there is everything like proteins, vitamins, minerals, and starch. So always prefer nutrient dense foods to calorie dense foods, and eat smaller frequent meals. Of course, this has to be individualized based on the person. And suppose you are hypertensive and have to limit your salt, you can use herbs and spices in place of that little bit of extra salt. And also, since the taste and smell goes down as we age, these herbs and spices can really pep it up. And if suppose you have problems with chewing, then you can go in for soft, easy foods that are easy to digest too. And to avoid constipation and other gut issues, have warm fluids and soups. And if possible, try to eat with the family, which is good for their family and also you. The other considerations are, if suppose you have diabetes, there you have a set of no-nos to be told, like go low on refined carbs, direct sugars, eat the plate concept can be followed, like eating plenty of veggies, having complex carbohydrates, but in moderation, and having protein at every meal. So for diabetes, this is what I want you to remember. um, at every meal there has to be protein and fiber from vegetables and whole grains, because the sugar release into the blood will be slow and sustained, therefore there will not be any sugar spikes. So that is would be the ideal plate for a diabetic, and of course you will avoid direct sugars as much as possible. When it comes to hypertension, there is something called a DASH diet, which stands for dietary approaches to stop hypertension, where we reduce the salt intake. Like if the recommendation is 5 grams, if you're not, if your hypertension is fairly controlled, you can have up to 4 or 5 grams of salt. But if your hypertension is little higher, not a well controlled hypertensive, then you can reduce the salt to about 2 or 3 grams. But this advice, you also go by what your physician says. Regarding diet, other parts of the diet include whole grains, eat more of plant proteins. When you want to have non-vegetarian sources of protein, going for lean portions, lean meats or chicken, the non-fatty portions of chicken, and be more active if and when possible. Drink plenty of water, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, unless you have any other a health issue that limits your intake of fruits. For osteoporosis, we have to concentrate on calcium rich foods. And when I say calcium rich foods, all the dairy products and green leafy vegetables, and amongst cereals, ragi is the highest ranking millet that's high in calcium. And what's more important is we should know what not to do. So people think, okay, yes, I am drinking 2 glasses of milk every day. How do you drink it? I have 2 glasses of coffee every day. What we have to remember is the coffee and tea. Yes, there is milk in coffee and tea, but the milk does not get absorbed well. That is one point. And since the gastric acid secretion is also reduced in senior citizens or older adults, the calcium absorption may be impaired. So we should have all that in mind and have enough. So the calcium requirement in older adults is slightly higher than in younger adults. And coming to dementia, which has become very common these days, we have to concentrate on omega-3 rich foods. The sources, as I told you already, are fatty fish like mackerel, tuna, sardines, and salmon. And the vegetarian sources are flax seeds, walnuts, and even methi to some extent. So these are small sources, and then there are some sea sources like spirulina, etc. And then being well hydrated. All these are there. So during the Q&A session, if you have any more disease conditions that you want me to address, I will do it. So, is it all about diet for having a good lifestyle? No, definitely there has to be, you have to be physically active in terms of you need to do a combination of exercises. Exercise is just not cardiovascular, where you do walking, jogging, running. You need to do strength training, and you need to do exercises to maintain your flexibility and balance, like yoga, pilates, etc. Definitely sleep is very, very important. And then interacting with people and being socially connected is all, like what you're doing, the Probus club, being virtually and in person meeting. All that helps, very important. So all this in a package will keep you in good health. So the take home messages would be having balanced meals, focusing on all the good nutrients will help you lead a healthy life. The key nutrients, as we discussed, are protein, fiber, hydration, vitamins, and minerals. Make small changes to get bigger benefits. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Sendil can
Sir, we will go with the Q&A session, sir, actually. If you have any queries, or I think Pranation sir summarize the questions from the members. If Pranation sir can ask all the questions, she can answer, sir.
Yeah.
I have
Pranashanji?
for senior citizens at night time, what type of food should be avoided so that they don't get disturbed sleep is very important for seniors.
Sure, sir. So the first thing is
Timing of food, dinner.
timing. Adada. So a minimum, a minimum I would like a 2 to 3 hours time gap between your meal and your bedtime. Do not worry, you will feel hungry. If your meal is adequate with proteins, you will not feel hungry during. See, I have faced it in my house. My mom, when I ask her to eat early, she says, no, no, I will feel hungry during the night. I can't eat early. So if you eat adequate proteins, you definitely will not feel hungry. If suppose you wake up in the middle, if you're a diabetic, if you're feeling hungry, if you're having a hypoglycemic thing attack, then maybe you can eat something at that time. But ideally, I would like a time gap of 2 to 3 hours between your last meal and your bedtime.
These calcium supplements like with vitamin D3, is it really working, or food is better control calcium?
You want me to talk about calcium or vitamin D? I know many tablets come as a pair. There is vitamin D and there is calcium also. See, you need about 1200 milligrams, 1000 to 1200 milligrams of calcium in a day. You will get it just by drinking 3 glasses of milk or curd if you can tolerate, if you can have it. You can easily meet your calcium requirements just by having 3 glasses of milk or curd in a day. Okay. If you can do that, then you do not need supplements. But if you are going to have milk as coffee or tea, then you may need it. Vitamin D, unless there is a proven deficiency, if suppose your vitamin D levels are, see, they say ideal is 30 to 50. But if your vitamin D level is in the insufficiency range, and if your physician feels that it needs to go up, then you be on a supplement, but that has a time frame. We do not have vitamin D supplements, for life. There is a course, like they say once a week for 8 weeks, and then maybe once every month for so many months. There is a course after which your vitamin D levels will automatically go up and you do not need it anymore.
Good. Ma'am, can I intervene? You see, as regards this vitamin D and vitamin B, what I suggest is, from my personal experience, when you go for the annual test, they prescribe lot of tests for blood test and all the for thyroid, cholesterol and all. You should ask the doctor to prescribe the test for vitamin B and vitamin D. There's a separate blood test which is done, and that will indicate what is the level of vitamin B and vitamin D you have. In my case, what happened, my diabetologist earlier prescribed some vitamin B supplement along with the other medicines. But when he saw this, my vitamin B was more than adequate, then he said, you need not take this tablet. You can, because you are
Very true.
vitamin B. So I would suggest people, when they go for the medical checkup annually or whatever it is, they should specifically ask the doctor what is the my level of this thing, and then they can decide.
Madam,
And then
I have
1 minute, number 7G.
no
Any supplement you take, I have a feeling that you should ask your doctor, because it all depends upon the other medicines you. My experience, when I was around 50 years old, people told you must take cinnamon, this, that, and all. I started taking, but then when I consulted my cardiologist, of course, I don't have any heart problem. It is my regular checkup I go. He says, since you are taking blood thinner, you don't take cinnamon. So it is always better if you are taking supplements, you show that to the doctor when you visit, and then ask him whether it can be taken or not. I think that will be a better thing. Namaste, MG. You can go ahead. Namaste, MG.
Any recommendation for food for avoiding leg cramps in the night?
Absolutely. See, many things play a role. One is water குறைஞ்சாலும் இருக்கலாம். So you need you see to it that you're drinking enough fluids, and then magnesium, sodium, all these play a role in muscle cramps.
But டெஸ்ட்ல எல்லாம் நார்மலா இருக்கு. Magnesium, sodium, everything is normal, but you get leg cramp. So any type of food which can be taken more to avoid the leg cramps, madam?
So, are you drinking enough fluids, sir? Are you drinking enough water?
Fluid, yes, fluid, enough fluid I take. But it's not every day, but when I get it, it is really painful. Leg cramps in the night, not in the morning. Then another
Okay.
thing, I take fermented rice. Is it good?
It is good. It is
It
good,
is
sir.
good.
உங்களுக்கு வேற ஏதாவது, sir, do you have any other health issues, sir?
I take one egg every
ராஜாமணி
day.
சார் நீங்க மியூட்
Normal
பண்ணணும்.
egg
ராஜாமணி சார், இட் இஸ் டிஸ்டர்பிங் அதர்ஸ். ராஜாமணி சார் கொஞ்சம் மியூட் பண்ணிடுங்க.
Hello.
Proceed, madam.
Rajamani sir, later on you can ask questions. You can
இல்ல,
unmute
பழைய
and ask. No
சாதம்
issue, sir.
சாப்பிடுறேன்,
No
அது
issue.
நல்லதா? பழைய சாதம் நைட்ல சாப்பிடுறேன், எல்லாம் நல்லதுங்கிறாங்க. Is it good?
It is good, sir. It is good for gut health. Fermented foods எல்லாமே good for gut health தான். But if you are a diabetic, நீங்க எவ்வளோ சாப்பிடுறீங்க? Are you a diabetic, sir? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be asking you
Yeah,
health
I'm
questions.
diabetic but under control.
குட். ஸோ நான் என்ன சொல்றேன், பழைய சாதம் சாப்பிட்றத பத்தி இல்ல, பட் யூ cannot go overboard on your cereal portion. அந்த சாதம் ஒரு கைனா ஒரு கை சாதம் தான், வெதர் இட் இஸ் ஃப்ரெஷ் ரைஸ் ஆர் ஃபெர்மெண்டட் ரைஸ், அந்த அளவு அவ்வளோதான். அதுக்கு மேல, and you have to definitely have some protein and some vegetables along with it. You just can't have fermented rice with more and ஊறுகாய் and be done with it. அப்போ definitely it won't be enough. It will not keep you satiated for one. You will get up, and probably I think you should start eating better for your leg cramps. In the sense, better, healthier choices, like ஏதான ஒரு protein, ஒரு கூட்டு மாதிரி நைட்டு வச்சுக்கோங்க. வெறும் சாதம் மட்டும் இல்லாம try to eat a கூட்டு where there is a பருப்பு and vegetable.
I would like to welcome Dr. S.K. Pillai and Mr. Rajamani. They are the first time they have come. I would all welcome them to our group. And Colonel, you want to ask some question? You can unmute. You can unmute and ask. Sir, you can.
நீங்க பண்ண முடியுமா? பத்ரி சார் நீங்க பண்ண முடியுமான்னு பாருங்க. அவர் அன்மியூட் பண்ண முடியுமான்னு பாருங்க. கிருஷ்ணசாமி சார், ஒரு மைக் மாதிரி ஒரு பட்டன் இருக்கும் பாருங்க, அதை பிரஸ் பண்ணுங்க.
நான் பண்ண முடியல. I think he has to do.
இல்ல மைக் மாதிரி ஒரு பட்டன் இருக்கு பாருங்க, அது மியூட்ல இருக்கீங்க, நீங்க பேசுறது கேட்கல.
Red button at the left hand side bottom.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we can hear you. Krishnasamy sir, you can go ahead with your question.
Please go ahead, sir.
தெரியல.
Some problem it looks like.
No, it's very clear. You're audible. You can ask your question.
You can go
Sir,
ahead,
we
sir.
are able to hear you.
Can you hear me,
Sir,
doctor?
Yes.
Yes.
Doctor, good evening. I'm Colonel Krishnaswamy.
Glad to
I'm,
meet you, sir.
Madam, I got a sort of a question because you have not covered the problem that I have, which is rather peculiar. In the sense that when I went to the doctor, he told me, how old are you? I said, I'm 88. So he said, it's rather strange that at your age, you have got this autoimmune disease. And normally, at your age, autoimmune disease is rare. And therefore, he has prescribed some medicines which are very effective. But he has also cautioned me that is only suppressive. So it will not trouble you now, but it may reoccur again. Is there any diet restrictions or is there any cause for my problem?
So, autoimmune diseases are, as the name indicates, immune related. So, there is actually not much of a role that diet can play. I don't know what kind of an autoimmune disease you have, but
I
for
got
example,
psoriasis. I got
psoriasis.
psoriasis.
Okay, so this is kind of addressable. So, psoriasis, you can try avoiding gluten foods. Okay, gluten rich foods, which mean gluten is found in wheat, rye, barley. Try avoiding gluten sources of foods, like anything made coming from wheat or wheat products. It can be very it can be a very tedious choice. Like, you have to, when I say go gluten free, then it means you have to avoid all biscuits, breads, so-called millet cookies. Even when they say millet cookies, you can't entirely believe there. It is not completely millet. It is partially millet, partially wheat or maida. So when I say gluten free, then you have to do lots of sacrifice, but it really helps.
Okay,
Rajamani
doctor,
sir,
thank you.
you want to ask any
But
question?
Yes, sir. Good
you
evening.
have
Good evening,
imposed
doctor.
a tremendous,
Good evening.
Good
Yes, yes.
you
evening.
have imposed tremendous
I'm
punishment on me.
52 years old, and my question is that for what is the time duration regarding I can walk? I can go for a walk. Whether I can go for an hour or more than that.
An hour will an hour will do. Definitely an hour will do. If you're used to exercising already, if you're used to exercising 1 hour every day, 1 hour a day will be good enough. That is good enough. You do not have to do more than that, because they say overdoing does not give you any extra benefits. Though they say 10,000 steps, 15,000 steps, but I think at your age, 1 hour is a good time of exercise. But then split it between cardio exercises like walking, and maybe 2 days in a week if you can start strength training. Are you doing strength training, sir?
No, no, doctor. I'm not doing doctor.
Like lifting weights and the madri.
I'm doing all kind of works, doctor. All kind of works in household works and gardening. Everything I'm doing.
All that you do, but you can, this is nothing big. You can buy yourself 2 kg weights, or even that 1 liter water bottle that we have.
Okay.
Take 1 liter water, fill 1 liter water bottles and do. And then number in our younger days, we did all these drill exercises. You do all that simple ones.
Okay.
That itself will take care of your weight training to start
Okay.
with. But of course, if
Okay.
you can do better than this, that would be great.
Okay, doctor. And regarding weight, doctor, what is the weight can I have at this age, 62?
So weight depends on the height, and what we call BMI, it is not entirely reliable, because it is not it has its limitations. BMI has its limitations, but if your BMI is fairly for Asians, it has to be under, like, do you know the BMI, how to calculate your BMI? It is very easy. Go on your net and say BMI calculator. You will have the calculator. Feed in your details such as height and weight. It will give you a BMI number. For Asians, ideally, it has to be less than 22.9. But being an older adult, maybe you can go up to 24.9. If you're within 24.9, between 18.5 and 22.9 is the first choice, or at least 24.9, then you're fine. You're in a healthy range.
Okay, doctor. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Yes,
Rajavan.
sir.
Dr. Pillai, you can unmute and ask the question.
Okay.
Unmute. There's a red button on the left-hand side, left-hand side bottom, left-hand side bottom.
Yes, sir.
Left-hand,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Are
done
you
it.
able to hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. See, you may be, most of you may be knowing Dr. Chokalingam, and his son is Dr. Anand Chokalingam. I was attending one of his talks, and he was telling, don't starve. You can feel hungry. And hungry is mostly because of our psychological feeling. May not be really you are hungry. Don't starve, but hungry is okay. And he has also written a book, Feeling Hunger. Okay, that's one part of it. Another thing is, in Tamil, we have one proverb that if you eat for one time, you are yogi. If you eat for two times, you are bohi. And if you eat three times, you are yogi, no, rohi. So, Dr. Chitra, can you comment on this? Because generally he suggests, even to reverse the age, you have 2 meals is sufficient for a person.
So, yes, sir. So, hunger what I would say is, if there is something called pseudo hunger, that I agree. So what that pseudo hunger means is, if you have eaten your meal, like if you have eaten your meal now, in half an hour's time you feel like eating, then it is pseudo hunger. See, if you have eaten a proper meal, you should, if you have eaten a nutrient adequate meal, then you should not feel hungry for at least 4 hours. 3 to 4 hours you should not feel hungry. If suppose you have eaten and you're feeling you're only feeling hunger, first drink a glass of water and see. It is pseudo hunger. As they say, the sites for hunger and thirst are next to each other in the brain. So drink a glass of water and see if that settles down. Okay, mostly it will settle down. Or you can even try infused water, like lemon infused water or mint infused water. That flavored water can trick your brain to say that it is eating or drinking something, and it will be happy with it. Regarding, see, regarding, I have not heard this Dr. Chokalingam speak on reducing your meals for this, but that is a concept, a whole concept altogether different. And the anti-aging and the autophagy and the madrila, there are various concepts. So where you don't have to, as you say, you don't have to starve. You don't starve. You eat, but you eat healthy. And you do not have to be eating between, though we say small frequent meals. If you do not need, if you've eaten a good meal, then you do not need to eat frequent meals. Then good breakfast, lunch, dinner will do. You do not have to, unless you want to do this time restricted eating. If your health permits, you can do, but I don't think it is for all.
Doctor,
Okay,
for
thank you very much.
Dr. Diabetes patients normally say that your standard meal you split into various portions and take. But the message is you should not overeat. What normally you take, that is to be split and taken. Am I
Yeah.
right, doctor?
Yeah, that's what they say. If you're having 3 idlis, split it into two, one and a half, one and a half, or one and one, like that, so that the sugar spike is controlled.
Okay.
But then, if you're going to do something like this, it is better you tell your physician that you're going to eat like this, so that, because you may be having a medication prior to your breakfast, he may have
Yes.
given you a certain strength of medication. If you're going to eat, thinking that you're going to eat 3 idlis, suppose you're eating only one and a half, you're going to feel a hypo very soon. So you please inform your physician that you plan to eat this way, so that he adjusts the medication dose accordingly.
Thank you. Thank you. Very well said. Very well said. Very logical
And
conclusion.
similarly, I wanted to comment on the point that you told me, that your take on vitamin B12, that's a valid thing, assessing all the vitamin levels in the blood. See, this is especially important when you're on metformin for diabetes. As I told you, in one of my slides, I told polypharmacy is one of the main reasons for nutrient not being absorbed well or being deficient. So this metformin over a few months can cause vitamin B12 deficiency. Some people, if they have not tested, they may be low on it. Or some people, this is especially in India, it is over the counter medication, all this metformin, the Neurobion or whatever, all these vitamin tablets are OTC. You can get it without any doctor's prescription. So which case people take on their own. And when see, it is not, you don't feel tired and exhausted when you are deficient in vitamins. You can feel all that, you can feel tingling and etc when you are high on them also. It's not that just you're deficient, you can be high on them also. You have to be careful with regards to supplements, whatever, however we say B complex vitamins, they are water soluble vitamins, they'll be flushed out, but still there is no point in overdoing any of these.
Very well. Thank you, doctor. Very well said. Anyone else? Ramakrishnan, you want to ask any question? You can unmute and ask. So, before our Dr. Sendil gives a final word, I have only one or two questions. Now, in the market, you have a lot of organic and non-organic food. Do you think it is really good to take organic and try to avoid organic, or it doesn't make much difference? Only it's a marginal. Your personal opinion, I want to ask. I'm not talking about the commercial aspect, because the people who produce that, they will say organic is good. But what is your personal opinion, whether it is good to go to organic or
Yeah. So the first point is we have to make sure that the food is really organic. Okay. There can be many bogus products claiming to be organic. So the
yeah.
first thing is making sure it is organic. And then I would say more than organic, when it comes to vegetables, fruits, and other grains, pesticide free is a better word, I feel. Organic is one, pesticide free is another way of saying it. So there is on the net you will see dirty dozen. There is a term called dirty dozen. They have mentioned a few foods like green leafy vegetables or grapes, few foods that can be infested very easily with all these pesticides. When if you can afford, if available, you can go in for organic produce. If not, we can at least make sure they are grown in the local farms where they've not used many pesticides, and buy from them. This becomes all the more important for immune compromised individuals, like people who may have oncological issues, going in for chemotherapy and radiation, where their blood count is quite low. For them, there used to be a diet where we advised organic, pesticide free. So for them, it becomes even more critical. But for the general public, if possible, you can go. If you can, we know that organic food is much more expensive than the
Yeah.
otherwise normally produced food. So
Yeah.
if possible, if you want, you can go in for it, or go in for the normal known varieties.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much. And I think we are almost concluding. I would request Dr. Sendil to give his final words before our secretary gives the formal vote of thanks. Sendilji, you can
So
add
thanks for
flavor
this
to the.
opportunity, sir. Yeah, thanks for this opportunity, sir. And again, it was a wonderful session, very informative session by Chitra Mahesh, madam. Thank you very much, madam, for accepting both the talks, one by one. Actually, just completing the talk by 4 o'clock and again joining for another talk by 6 o'clock. As Badri sir was asking about this organic food, I wanted to share a few points actually and few myths about organic food. So generally, we think organic foods are automatically more nutritious, but you need to understand organic farming avoids synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, but the nutrient content of organic and conventional food is usually similar. What matters more is overall diet variety and balance. That's what is more of no. It's now eating organic food is becoming a passion. So you, and another thing is that everyone feels organic means pesticide free. Organic farmers also use pesticides, but they are derived from natural resources like neem oil, copper, sulfur. Organic does not mean zero chemicals. It means restricted and regulated usage. That you need to understand. And organic food is again, everyone thinks that organic food is 100% safe. Organic foods can still carry risk of contamination like E. coli from manure or improper handling. Safe washing and cooking is very important than using organic food. So these are the few points which I wanted to share because like everyone feels like no eating organic food is important and I take only organic food. Unless you grow the vegetables in your terrace, then only it is 100% organic. Whatever you see wrapped in a designer cloth or in a uh, brown color cloth is not organic. They just taken drumstick cover with a cloth and put it as organic and price it like 5 times or 6 times more than the normal drumstick, and we buy that and we bring that telling our parents or our wife like no, we bought organic, I'm going to be healthier tomorrow. No, that is not the fact actually. So 99% of organic is not organic. Only 1% in the market is organic. So so that is the main thing. And thank you very much, madam, again. And thank you, Badri sir. And it was a very no very interactive session. Lot of questions and lot of answers. Very enriching. Lot of things I don't know, and it was enriching for me as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, very comprehensively she covered within a matter of 1 hour. It was very comprehensive, and she probably anticipated our mind and started preparing the presentation and preempted all our moves. So thank you, Dr. Sendel, for arranging this wonderful program within a short time. Chitra, Mahesh, wish you good luck in all your career. We wish you reach greater heights
Thank you very much, sir.
before
Thank you
long.
very much.
Catch
And
up one day, sir. No, when you're coming to Chennai, we'll catch up one day, sir.
yeah, we'll catch up. And I wish her she gets some Padma Awards also in the days to come.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Uh, thank
Thank
you,
you very much.
Sendilji. I should thank you for arranging
It's my
at a very
pleasure. I
good.
am part of Probus. Please don't thank me.
Oh, that's okay. And now I request Pranesh ji to give the formal vote of thanks. Please unmute and then speak.
Okay, sir. It was a pleasure to listen to Dr. Chitra Mahesh giving such a useful and timely advice to all senior citizens, and are having accepted the invitation in a short time. Dr. Sendil was very cooperative and coordinate all our activities. I also thank all the members and non-members, that is special invitees who attended this meeting. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
Thank you.
stop recording.